Hello everyone, my name is Sarafi and I'm happy to meet you all. And today we're going to be playing Chronomalies because one of the people that I was playing with in stream requested that I play this deck. So if you guys want to see a video of your favorite deck, just stop by my stream anytime and ask me to play it. As long as I'm playing it and getting footage, I'll be happy to record it and then show it to you guys later. So today, Chronomalies, the skill is called Gateway to the Another Dimension. And what it does, send one monster from your deck or extra deck to your graveyard. Then change the level of all monsters on your field to the level or rank of the monster you have sent to the graveyard. If you send a monster to the graveyard from your deck, you must also send one monster from your hand to the graveyard. The skill can only be used once per turn if you begin the duel with a deck that contains the following conditions. Your deck contains at least 12 Chronomaly monsters, and your deck and extra deck contains no monsters other than Chronomaly monsters or light number monsters. Obviously, there are no light number monsters in your main deck, so your main deck is completely Chronomaly, at least 12, and your extra deck has to have only Chronomalies or light numbers. That's a pretty stringent restriction, but the effect is really good because every single turn you basically set up an Xyz. You don't have to worry about your levels, you don't have to worry about anything else. So we are playing a deck that has 13 Chronomalies. For our main deck, we have Chronomaly Moai, level 5. If you control a Chronomaly monster, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position. This is not once per turn, so you can just throw out as many Chronomaly Moais as you want. Chronomaly Crystal Bones. If your opponent controls a monster and you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. When special summoned this way, you can special summon one Chronomaly monster from your hand or graveyard except Chronomaly Crystal Bones. Also, not once per turn. These cards are both free, by the way. This is a Tray drop, and this is a Tray level up reward. Chronomaly Crystal Skull. If you control a Chronomaly monster, you can discard this card to the graveyard, add one Chronomaly monster from your deck to your graveyard to your hand, except Chronomaly Crystal Skull, and you can only use this effect once per turn. So you'll usually use that to draw whatever you want. Chronomaly Tuspa Rocket. This card is also free. If this card is normal or special summon, you can send one Chronomaly monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard, then target one face-up monster on the field, and it loses attack equal to the level or rank of the monster sent to the graveyard times 200. If you make a number exceeds monster with this card, then it gains the effect of this card can make 2 attacks on monsters each battle phase. So what you do with this card, you send Neverdisk to the graveyard. Then one of your opponent's monsters loses 800 attack points. And Neverdisk says, when this card is normal summon, you can add one Chronomaly card from your deck to your hand, except Chronomaly Neverdisk. But if this card is in the graveyard and all monsters you control are Chronomalies, you can special summon this card in defense position. However, you cannot activate any cards or effects during the turn you activate this card, except Chronomaly cards and effects. You can only use Chronomaly Neverdisk, one effect per turn. So this does stop you from playing Book of Moon. So if you have to Book of Moon something, you cannot revive Neverdisk from the graveyard. But it does let you easily Xyz into one of your Chronomaly monsters. Lastly, we have Chronomaly Cabrera Trebuchet. Once per turn, you contribute one other Chronomaly monster, target a face-up monster your opponent controls, and its attack becomes 0 until the end phase. This is not good at all. Really, this should be a third Neverdisk. If I had a third Neverdisk, I would put it in here. Chronomaly Technology, also a free card. Target one Chronomaly monster in your graveyard, banish it, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, and add one to your hand, and send the other to the graveyard. You can only activate one Chronomaly Technology per turn. You cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate this card, except Chronomaly monsters. So it's basically Pot of Greed. Well, you draw one card, but you get to choose the card. It's really good. Definitely would run 3 of this if I had it. 1 of it's good enough. Then 3 Book of Moons and 3 Crackdowns. These are very important because of the Eternal Bond deck that's running around right now. If you steal, you Bell the Ultimate Nightmare and then turn it face down, you can flip face up and your opponent will not be able to deal with it. Alright. For the extra deck, we have number 9, Dyson Sphere. This requires 2 level 9 monsters. Obviously, you make this by sending one of them to the graveyard. During your main phase 1, if your opponent controls a monster with higher attack than this card, you can detach one material from this card, and this card can attack directly this turn. Then once per battle step, if this card with material is attacked, as a quick effect, you can negate that attack. When this card is targeted for an attack while it has no materials, you can target with 2 monsters in your graveyard and attach those monsters to this card's material. So you get to essentially stall out for a turn, attack your opponent directly, and you can continuously use this effect as long as you have overlay units. And in the Duel Links game, if you use up both overlay units on Dyson Sphere, you should win, because that's 2800 plus 2800, 5600. You should be able to kill them. So this is a good card. Then we have number 6, Chronomaly Atlantis. When this card is Xyz summoned, you can target one number monster in your graveyard, equip that target to this card. This card gains attack equal to half that of the equipped monster, and then once per turn you can detach one material from this card, send the equipped monster to the graveyard to have your opponent's life points, but you can't conduct your battle phase this turn. So you can equip Force Focus, just mill Force Focus with the skill, then you get to equip it from your graveyard. And that gives Atlantis 4,000 attack points, which is what you're looking for. And then you can OTK. Additionally, if you are confident that you can survive, you can make Atlantis on turn 1, use the effect to have your opponent's life points, then turn 2, just make Dyson Sphere and attack them directly. Or Chronomaly Chateau Hoyak and attack one of their monsters and kill them that way. So cutting your opponent's life points to 2,000 is very useful in this deck. Next up, we have Chronomaly V-Mana. Once per turn, you can target one face-up monster on the field and one Xyz monster or one Chronomaly monster in your graveyard. The monster on the field gains half the attack points of the monster in the graveyard, then attach that monster to this card as material. Or once per turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can attach 2 materials from this card to negate the activation, but you can't destroy the monster. So V-Mana is your standard turn 1 play. It has a lot of utility, it's hard to destroy, and negating your opponent's monster effects every turn is pretty nice. Last up, we have number 36, Chronomaly Chateau Hoyak. This requires 2 level 4 Chronomaly monsters, and once per turn during either player's turn, you can detach 1 material from this card, target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, and change its attack points to 0. You contribute 1 Chronomaly monster, then target 1 monster your opponent controls, whose current attack is different from its original attack, and destroy that target. You can use both effects, just detach 1 material from Chronomaly Chateau Hoyak, change the monster's attack points to 0, then tribute the Chateau Hoyak and destroy it if you need to. But primarily you want to use this with the attacks that you can hit your opponent for 2,000. It's good. It's a card that you will like to see play. Okay, let's take a look at the replay. So we're up against Eternal Bond, and we are going first. And we have 1 Book of Moon. It's not really going to be enough to save us, so we summon our Tusper Rocket, and then we special summon Chronomaly Nebra Disc from our graveyard. Now we can Xyz summon by activating the skill. So we activate the skill and we send our number 9 Dyson Sphere from our extra deck to the graveyard. That will allow us to Xyz summon number 9 Dyson Sphere in defense position because both our monsters are level 9. Then we're just going to set 1 card face down and end our turn. Our opponent normal summons Yubel, sends Yubel to the graveyard, sets Terror Incarnate, sends Terror Incarnate to the graveyard, sets Ultimate Nightmare, flips Ultimate Nightmare, gets the Miracle Contact, activates Miracle Contact, shuffles the Neos from hand and the Yubel from graveyard, gets a Neos Kluger, activates Neos Fusion, summons another Neos Kluger, uses Lazuli, gets the Neos back, and we are in trouble. But Dyson Sphere negates the attack, and Dyson Sphere negates the attack. For those of you that weren't paying attention, Dyson Sphere's effect is not once per turn, it's once per battle, and it's never going to lose overlay units, so as long as you can use the effect once, you can use the effect over and over again. It's our turn, and since our opponent has a monster with 3,000 attack points, we can go ahead and use Dyson Sphere's effect to detach 1 material and attack him directly this turn. Then we normal summon our Chronomaly Crystal Skull, which allows us to special summon Chronomaly Moai. We activate the skill again, because we can use it as many times as we want. And we will send our Chateau Hoyak to the graveyard, so we can make all our monsters level 4. We Xyz into another Chateau Hoyak. Attack directly, attack Brave Neos, activate the effect to lower his monster's attack points to 0, beat over it, and that's lethal. There you go. That's Chronomaly. That's how you can use number 9 Dyson Sphere with ease. You don't have to play Quentin. It's a good card when you can make it this easily. Thank you for watching. My name is Serafi, and I was thrilled to have you all with me.